Hi guys, trying to give you guys a quick little update on our garden. Update you guys on like the fails, which we had a lot, the successes, which weren't many, but just giving you guys a heads up. And this is real life. Not everything did very well. As you guys remember, the corn, or if you didn't know, we grew corn and it wasn't successful. It got rust and it just got completely hammered. And then we had a few weeks where it was super hot that the poor thing just like dried up really fast. Or maybe it was the rust. I don't know. It was my first year growing corn. The placement of it didn't get enough sunlight. So I think that helped contribute to like a little bit of rust being able to spread, because from what I understand it's more like a mold, like rust is like it could dry, maybe, I don't. So the corn, totally hot mess. Pumpkins, it wasn't very successful. We learned a lot that maybe because pumpkins are a crop, like a vine crop, they definitely do spread a lot. I didn't realize how big the plant was gonna get, and it was really hard to water in between, so we would have to like come and like carry our like hose and then try to water in between, and it was just a little bit of a hot mess. So for sure we learned that like in order for us to do the pumpkins, we have to have some sort of irrigation laid out before, so we can just turn on the water and let them water themselves. It was just impossible. You really didn't want to be watering on top. So yeah, let me show you what we did harvest, which not super exciting, but you know, it is kind of nice. So we have a ton of spaghetti squash. This was from a previous harvest. I tried growing loofah squash. Super unsuccessful. Again, it was so big and we only got like 5. I thought I needed to cut them before a frost, but we live in such a mild climate that nothing would have happened to them. So lesson learned. And then we did harvest a few butternut squash, which I'm pretty excited about. I have about 2 inside, and then so we got a total of 5, I think, or 7, I'm not sure, but we had a few, so that's kind of nice. So this was our pumpkin harvest. We did have to take out the pumpkins because they were just getting out of hand. We had my husband's birthday party, which we wanted kind of to be tidy before people came over. So this was the only pumpkin that we really got that was successful. This is a jack-o'-lantern that never grew a lot, but it is pretty fascinating that we grew this. So that's nice. And then one Big Max that could have definitely got bigger. Is definitely getting a lot more orangey than when we harvested. I wanted to see if it could get color once it was cut out of the vine, or if it's gonna start rotting. So this is more of an experiment to see what can happen. Those are all the winter squashes. Some of them I think were totally ready, like this one. I don't know, maybe they're supposed to be more dark. This was the first time I ever grew, and then the rest we just cut them because we thought they were we saved them because we thought they were cute and just to see if we could decorate with them, but these are obviously trash. And just to see what came out of them. We still have a ton of the spaghetti squash. I'm so surprised how much that plant gave. It's crazy. But I'm looking into doing some sort of like dulce de calabaza, which is like a sweetened pumpkin candy. We use it a lot to decorate or to eat during like Day of the Dead decorations or festivities, I should say. So I'm gonna try that. It's gonna be there's a dessert called chilacayote, and it's some sort of pumpkin that's more like shreddy, like the spaghetti squash. So we're gonna try to see if that's gonna work out, and honestly I'm sure it's gonna be good. It's just piloncillo with cinnamon and the pumpkin, so what can go wrong there, you know? That should be delicious. So we shall see. And now let me take you guys outside. So this is what I mean about the wrong placing. When I started growing on this little garden bed, I seriously, we even had the stakes for the corn because the wind just hammered it. It kept like blowing it this way and it would like bring it all the way down. There's Kodiak. So it gets too much shade. And when I planted it, I didn't realize like, yeah, that tree is huge, but it was bald, you guys. It was winter. It didn't have any leaves. Right now in the middle of the summer, like right now it's losing a lot, so it's kind of fine. But I mean, it doesn't get sunlight up until later in the day, and it only gets like maybe 4 hours at most. That's not enough. So maybe here we'll probably do like in the middle of like summer, maybe some sort of like lettuce or like spinach, something that's like enough light for something that cannot get hammered for like longer periods of daylight, you know. Blueberries, this was super nice. We're hoping it does great next year. It gave a lot for its first year. The basil, I always grow basil, just mainly because I love the way it smells. I never use it to cook with. Why, I don't know. Don't kill me. I just don't. We don't really eat a lot of pastas. My husband's not a fan, which I don't know. Yeah, I know, grounds for divorce, but he definitely doesn't really care for them. He'll eat them, but it's not his fave. But I just find them so pretty. Like, I love to see that. And then the bees really love it. There was a menagerie of my seeds. What was the name? I cannot remember. But it smells like licorice. Really sweet. But I just love the smell. I really want to just collect the seed and eventually maybe venture into making soap with it because it smells so good. Ooh, or maybe some sort of like salves with like, if I can get a hold of like beeswax. But you guys, it smells so good. And like, I definitely have a lot of seeds out of these little seed pockets. Like, look at that seed right there. Isn't that crazy? So I definitely have a lot of seed. These are called the Brainiacs Mix, the Ciliosas. Really pretty, but mainly we just use them for decorations for a Day of the Dead. So that's the only reason why I'm growing it. I don't know what attacked it. Look at that. What do you guys think? It's definitely, the little holes in between make me think caterpillar, but then like these are like tears. So I don't know if it was a bird. You see that? I don't know. But it's still like the actual flower, like the bloom, what we used to decorate during Day of the Dead is like intact and doing really good. So that's nice. Our peppermint that I mainly use for like random teas when my tummy feels upset did get attacked by caterpillars. What are they called? Tomato hornworms. And I keep trying to like get them all, but I'm super terrified of spiders. And so if there's a spider in between, I just leave it and I'm just like, oh, it looks like you're dying. It's probably the worst thing, but that is what I do. This jalapeno never really did much. I mean, it has jalapenos, but look how tiny these are. And then some even start drying in the plant. And look how tiny that is. We had it originally planted, where was it? I think it was right here. Yeah, it was definitely right here. And then we transplanted it into here. And it just, I think it just didn't never like the change. So it never did like much. This is where all the spaghetti squash was, like right here. And it did grow crazy up and then all around of my makeshift. The dogs are playing. Great. It's going to be so muddy to clean, but oh well. I grew this like horrible trellis, but it worked for it. They definitely grew a lot. Jesus Christ, look at them. They're so bad. Hey, we had another tomato plant right here, but like I said, definitely we learned a lot of like worse planning. It didn't get enough light coming this way. I don't know if you can see my shadow of like where I'm explaining it. It didn't get a lot of light, especially with the spaghetti squash coming on this side. So we definitely decided to take it out. And the Serrano Peppers, my goodness, look how big this plant is. That's huge, you guys. It's like from here to here, and it's loaded with peppers. I already did a whole for my recipe, I needed 3 pounds of Serranos for cowboy candy. It calls for 3 pounds of jalapenos, but I have more Serranos than jalapenos, so we use Serranos, and they were delish, super, super yum, which I am planning on making more because I don't have any more. I have like one little, half a quart jar left. My family did love them, and so I gift them all. This jalapeno, on the other hand, it is doing good. I did harvested a bunch of them, and it's still growing some more. We never got like huge jalapenos out of it, but it's still good. The tomato plant, again, it is not as successful as previous years. Look at these tiny little tomatoes that we're getting. Like, yeah, we got a few good ones, but not all of them are good, and we're definitely battling the green hornworms. We constantly get caterpillars or the hornworms, and this is what they do. They eat a little bit of it and then they just leave them alone, which is pretty annoying. I did grew some onions from seed, which is pretty exciting. What we got was some like little ping balls, but there's still a few in the soil, so we'll see what they do. Look at this one, it's growing a lot, but from what I understand, you need to wait until this is completely dry. They can still be growing right now, so we shall see. I don't know. There's another bigger one right there. So yeah, definitely we learned a lot. The plan is eventually we'll still use this side of the house to garden, but not as much, and then the garden beds are going to be cut in half. It's just too much. You can't really reach in the back. So that's that. We did get a hold of some strawberries. My brother-in-law gave us some strawberries, and so that's what we did. We added some strawberries. These are perennial plants from, I think they are all-star variety, so they're supposed to do amazing and like heavy producers. I honestly just plotted them here because they were starting to rot, and I had them in a bag, and I just needed to get them in the ground. So I have some here, I have some there, and then on this side we also have some more strawberries growing. Only a few survived, so I can see 1, 2, there's a third one right over there, and then there was another one, I think, maybe not. But then we have a tomato plant just trying to like do its thing right there, if you see it. But yeah, so that's that there. And then this is where the pumpkins were. Not super successful, but the plan is eventually to put all of the garden beds closer to the fence, have the fence fixed, as we had to take that out. It was leaning so much this way that was literally touching the apple tree. That's a young apple tree that we have going on. So this is how far the fence should be. It was leaning all the way this way. That's a big difference. So eventually we'll do all the garden beds right here, and then possibly transfer this apple tree to the side of the house this way. So we're thinking all of the fruit trees, like moving forward, it's not focusing, moving forward, they're all going to be up against the house. So that's the plan. We shall see. Again, not perfect, but this is real life. So we're hoping next year is a better winter garden, or is a better gardening season. We learned a lot. Definitely irrigation is the way to go. It just takes so much time to be hand watering everything. So I think we're gonna have to, like, even if we don't spend the money on like doing it underground, so like each one is connected, I think we can also just connect the hose and then turn it on whenever we want it to be watered. And then all of these are going to be moved all up against the fence. So yeah, that's that.